Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead Weekly number 74. We still have a lot to talk about today, despite not getting a new alpha build. So, without holding back any further, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead Site Manager, Perculia.
Hey everyone, we have Pepe here, no alpha build, so no hat, but we do have a ton of merchandise. Warcraft movie publicity keeps coming in, and we also got some more Old Gods information actually through Hearthstone, so we still have a pretty full show.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the Old Gods first.
Yes. So N'Zoth was revealed in Hearthstone this week. I do have a picture of him if you guys want to check him out. He's a big, bad, tentacly type dude. Look at his head. Ew.
I know. He looks really creepy in the animated golden card because there's rain coming down from the sky and all this gross stuff.
I should have screen capped it, but they also revealed today a new N'Zoth card. N'Zoth.
They actually went over this in the blog, how it's pronounced N'Zath.
Is it N'Zath or N'Zoth? Like the difference between like Anna and Anna.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
N'Zoth.
Anyway, apparently lots of people have been unsure how to pronounce this because it's in a blog.
But even honestly, it says pronounced N-U-H. That's obviously N. Right. And then Z-A-Th. Is that Za or Za? That's not, like, yes. I need more information. Like, even the phonetical spelling isn't enough for me. I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense to be N'Zath, but I could be wrong. What do I know? The last thing I know is how to pronounce things. But he's a creepy guy, and they revealed a new card today that was Spawn of N'Zoth, and it was like a little baby N'Zoth, and he was like so cute. And
I covered him in the news today. It's so adorable. Cute. He needs to be a plush.
I know. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. But you're right. He does need to be a plush. This is a pretty big deal. If you don't know, we have never seen N'Zath in WoW yet. The art that we just showed you guys was by lead character artist Tyson Murphy, and we've kind of been waiting to find out more about N'Zath since BlizzCon 2010's Quest and Lore panel, when Chris Metzen like randomly blurted out that there would be a third old god whose name was N'Zoth, and that he would be in Cataclysm. And he wasn't in Cataclysm, but he was like mentioned.
There's like hints of him because like if you quest in Vashir, which is that big underwater zone, when you get towards the end of questing, you see faceless ones. There's tentacles in this cave, and there is quest talking about the Master, and Throne of the Tides has a boss that looks like a faceless one who became a Hearthstone card.
Yeah.
So speculation was that he was in that underwater area, and that the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron had whispers talking about how an old god was trapped, in like the underground, like drowned city. So we didn't meet him face to face, but we heard some rumors about him.
There was gossip. And I think the part of N'Zoth's reveal that caused the most stir is that they hinted in the blog that there is a possibility he may be in Legion. The actual quote from the blog is, "Emerald Dream? How about Emerald Nightmare? Neltharion the Earth Warder? Nah, let's go with Deathwing the Destroyer. Prissy Night Elf nobility throwing a hissy fit? Bam, you get a snake body and actual hissing. Yes, it's rumored that N'Zoth was involved in twisting the Emerald Dream, corrupting one of Azeroth's most powerful dragons, and mutating the Highborn into the despicable Naga. And that's just getting started."
Yeah, I mean, all those things we've seen in past expansions, but they're all big parts of Legion, because the Emerald Nightmare is the first raid in Legion, and a lot of figures you may recognize are actually bosses in that instance. So that is a pretty big deal. And in the Sundering, the Night Elf Highborn returned into Naga, led by Queen Ashara as the ruler, and we have the Eye of Ashara dungeon in Legion, and there's a lot of Night Elf references in Legion, more so than we've had in past expansions, and the Resto Shaman artifact is also tied to the Naga as well. And then Deathwing used to be Neltharion, and, the Black Dragonflight was all corrupt, and Wrathion makes an appearance in High Mountain, trying to retrieve some of the uncorrupted eggs. So, all of these things that N'Zoth was related to corrupting are around in some form in Legion.
Well, not only that, but we know in Legion, like, we got those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of models of Highborn.
Right, yeah. So many. Yeah.
Like, so many. So it feels like they're going to have a really relevant, like, something huge is going to be around the Highborn. So hopefully we'll see more of that. I'm just like, it's crazy to kind of see things come together, especially when you're talking about something that was revealed almost 6 years ago. And
Yeah,
now we're
finally.
now we're sort of like being able to put together the pieces and see more. And we know that they had talked about at Gamescom this year in August that they really liked the raid structure of 7, 10, 13, but they did not confirm whether there would be 3 raids or 4 raids or how many raids there would be. So
Right.
who knows?
And we just know the first two, which is the Emerald Nightmare, which is where Xavius is, and then Suramar City, which is where we finally confront Gul'dan again.
Yeah, so
we don't know anything beyond that. This is just
do,
like tier, like early tier, and then later part of the same, like High Mall and Black Rock.
Yeah, so it's like it's gonna be really interesting to me to see what these final raid or raids are as they're revealed, because we've fought old gods before. Yogg Saron is an old god, so it's like it's not out of the question for N'Zoth to be a final boss in this expansion, and it's really relevant to everything that's going on. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, even Siege of Orgrimmar, Yasarj, he was, hopefully I didn't butcher that pronunciation, he was, digging up his corrupt heart, which was why the Veil of Eternal Blossoms became all corrupted, and, like, his heart is hanging where Garrosh is in his war bunkers, so, he was a big part of the Endomist of Pandaria, as well, and of course Cthulhu
it's
in
from Vanilla.
Classic WoW, and that whole, like the opening of the gates, that was tied to him, so old gods are always involved in WoW in a major capacity when they show up.
Getting even a little more tinfoil hatty, this is a very minor spoiler. I'm not going to spoiler tag it, but we've talked about who the Horde war chief will be, and because of who that is, there's an actual area in the lore-related zone for the new war chief that has a lot of like mysterious things going on, and we'll probably be spending some time there because that is our new war chief. And there's a lot of speculation that in that area there's like an area where there's a lot of like little like fey dragons, and there's all this, if you step into the circle, there's all these like whispering and weird noises, and there's never been an explanation in the lore as to what that area is, why it is.
Yeah, and some of the artifact quests send you to the corruption hidden underneath the zone.
Yeah,
like it was a zone where there was like, there's like a lot of holy things going on in this zone because it was a battle between a titan, and then there was a battle between some of the old gods' lieutenants. Mm-hmm. So, maybe we'll see that play out.
Yeah, so it's
like, it has like a noble half and then maybe a corrupted half.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if that's going to have anything to do. Yeah, I'm trying really hard not to like have a spoiler but still have a conversation. I think I did good. But yeah, so I'm really interested to see like what the reveal of N'Zoth and Hearthstone could potentially bring to World of Warcraft, maybe in Legion. So
and I'm kind of okay that we heard about it in Hearthstone first because
I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fun way. Maybe it reaches more people. Like, a lot of people in Hearthstone don't really know what the old gods are, so maybe this will get more people hooked on the lore and they'll learn about it. So, yeah, I mean, I also feel that if he was revealed in WoW, people would be like, oh, what's this model? And, like, here's a line of dialogue. And I think it's cool that maybe people got the big picture of him first before, like the data mining happened.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, Hearthstone has what, like 40 million players? Is that correct? Okay, so Hearthstone has like 40 million.
Lot of.
Yeah, it has like several million players, many millions, and a lot of those people are people who used to play WoW. And I think when they do these little like throwback lore things that are interesting to people, especially with an expansion coming up, it could really help boost populations prior to the launch. If people think they might be getting something involving the old gods, like those are the biggest bad guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just it's really cool. So I'm excited to see what follows from this, and I hope it's not nothing.
Right.
N'Zoth is not in World of Warcraft. False alarm, people. We'll see. But one of the most exciting things that is coming in Legion, for sure, are mini-map improvements, and this is something this is something a lot of people were very excited about, and I know this doesn't look like much when you see it, but on the first slide, you can see that the exclamation point indicating that you have a quest is grayed out, and in the second one, you can see that there are some pet battle indicators that are grayed out, and then in the third one, there's some pet battle indicators that are green. The grayed out means that you are on the wrong level. This sounds like the simplest thing, But this is huge. This.
Yeah, and it's not even like, oh, the thing is in a cave and you're not in the cave. It could be you're at the top of the mountain and this battle pet is at the base of the mountain. So it's really smart in determining where you are, how far away you are from the thing.
Yeah, it's really exciting as someone who collects. I'm speaking of collecting pets. I am like 5 away from 700 currently.
Oh wow.
I know. It's the worst though because now I'm at the point where none of the ones I have left are easily obtained.
Yeah.
But so I'm excited for that because I obviously do a lot of dumb stuff like that, but like I am the queen of getting lost in caves and not being able to find objectives, and especially when there's multi-level things. We were just talking about Vashtir. Vashtir was the worst.
Yeah. I want to write a guide to Vashtir just so people that don't know WoW and they're not sure if they want to see these, hints of N'Zoth, maybe if they're scared of Vashtir, maybe you can write a guide talking about the cool parts in case it's too overwhelming with all the dimensions and ups and downs.
Vashtir is an awesome zone. It's just that the novelty of being underwater wore off very quickly.
Yeah.
Like you first experience Vashtir, and this was like, this is when an early experience in Cataclysm when you start leveling, and it feels like, oh my gosh, there's coral, there's fish shooting by me.
Yeah, I really like how there's the 3 different subzones, and they're each representing different types of ocean life and how deep you are in the ocean, and that's really well done, I think.
Oh yeah, it's a very well done zone. There's a couple standout parts to me where there were like underwater caves, grottos, if you will. Yeah. And if you thought above ground caves were like a circle of hell, underwater caves are a deeper circle of hell. So I'm excited. I hope that those changes do work retroactively because I've always been a big fan. Like right now, a lot of people when they go back through and level alts, like they don't really quest anymore. You just like dungeon grind and you do it as fast as possible. But I really like questing. So anything that would encourage people to get out in the world and do more, I am pro that. But ooh, this is exciting. You should talk about the next thing. This is really exciting.
So there are a lot of removed abilities and glyphs with cool visual effects in Legion, but because a lot of players were attached to these abilities and how they looked, the visual effects are being preserved as class books and toys. And we knew about this for a few builds. We'd keep seeing these items get added, but we weren't really sure where to get them. And we started digging around, and we found out that a lot of these items are found in obscure places around Old Azeroth, so like Druids go to a vendor in Moonglade, and Shaman go to a vendor in Throne of the Elements, and mages go to one of the vendors in Dalaran. And I just think that's really cool because it's a good way to visit iconic places for your class outside of the Order Hall. And, we're still looking for the other classes. We haven't found them yet. So, yeah, I just think that's a really nice bit of flavor, and it makes you get out and explore the world. And you just mentioned how a lot of people level just by boosting or they do dungeons. So if you hit max level and you haven't played a lot of these old zones, maybe you'll learn or see something new about your class as you pick these cool things up.
Absolutely. And I love anything that is current level content that encourages you to go back into relatively obsolete areas of the world. And I feel like that's what this is. So
I know a lot of people were also sad that Moonglade wasn't the Druid hub area, so I feel that by putting cool things in these iconic zones, it shows that, I don't know, like Blizzard is listening or still saying, hey, we still think Moonglade's cool, it's relevant to your class, here's something that you should go do there.
Yeah.
So, and there's a ton of examples. These are just a few. There's Tome of the Wild's Flap, Tome of Hex Spider. There's the Tadpole Cloud Cedar, which replicates the Rain of Frogs effect. And the Scarlet Confessional Book, which is the Glyph of Confession. And the Dalaran Initiate's Pin, which is the Dalaran Brilliance buff. The raid-wide buffs that, grant everyone your party intellect are gone, but the cosmetic effect of that eye is really cool, so that is coming to Legion in the form of a toy. So, if you are in the alpha or if you've seen the post and you have some hints as to where we should look, let us know and we'll try to track down more books. I've already tried to look at Ravenhold for rogues.
I was just going to say, did you look at Ravenhold? Dang.
Maybe they didn't implement that yet, but, I tried going to Nestingwary's Camp for Hunters, didn't see it there, but, maybe we'll find some more.
Sheesh, which one of Nestingwary's camps? The one
I
in
went to
Northrend?
Stranglethorn.
Yeah.
Maybe Strangle. Maybe I should have checked Northrend. But yeah,
Oh, I would have.
just
That's where I probably would have
yeah.
gone first. But granted, I'm not like that's just where I think is like what was the area? That's where
Sholazar. Because it had the
Shalazar, yeah.
hunter teams. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably where it is. I bet that's where it is.
Yeah.
Also, this was really cool too. There's like
Yeah.
some little Easter eggy. I don't know if I'd consider it content per se, but there's like some new Easter eggs of like demons in Dalaran for demon hunters and prop paladins.
Yeah, Katsuki found this. This was super cool. There's all these humans walking around Dalaran, but a few sound kind of shady when you talk to them. And if you get on a demon hunter and use spectral sight or a paladin with their super righteous artifact weapon, you can then turn them into demons and then you can fight them. So, I've tried them on other classes, like I tried hunters with track demons and warlocks with enslaved demon, and nothing happened. But yeah, with demon havoc, vengeance, demon hunters, as well as prot paladins, you can unmask these angry sounding people. And what's really funny is that they're walking around holding a map, so they kind of look like tourists.
That's
and they sound
really
really
funny.
angry when you talk to them. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, we keep finding little things in Dalaran that we didn't notice before, like, Pepe was showing up in a painting, or like there's a quest where like a cart is on fire in the background, or there's like a little dust bunny pet in a corner. There is a guy that's very excited about the fire mage artifact weapon that wants to hold it. His animation sets the building on fire.
That's
There's
amazing.
a sailor that's drinking that has a special lines if you're an outlaw rogue with the artifact. So yeah, I kind of like how everyone in Dalaran gets these little Easter eggs like that.
It's really
hopefully we'll
cute.
keep
It's
finding
really
more.
thoughtful. It's like there was a lot of thought. It feels like the more we learn about Legion and the more that we see on the alpha, the more we see just a lot of thought put into rewarding players passively for going out and doing things and talking to
Right.
NPCs and
Exploring.
and kind of like just playing WoW the way it used to really be. And I feel like Legion. I'm stealing a line from one of my guildies that I heard last night, but I feel like Legion could be the Wrath of the Lich King that we all need.
I'm curious to see what the alt catch-up mechanisms are like, because with all the unique things that are spec specific and the artifact quest lines being really different, I feel that it's encouraging you to try out different specs and to do, like actually play different characters to get a fuller sense of the story. So
I feel like one of the big things as far as alts go, I feel like one of the big things that they could do in Legion is not have, like maybe your artifact weapon, sure, but maybe one of the things they should really try to focus on is not giving you so many catch-up mechanisms where you're skipping entire raid tiers. I feel like that was the last time that raid tiers didn't become obsolete was in Wrath of the Lich King. Like when we were in ICC, there was still stuff from Ulduar that was relevant. And we're at a point right now where there is nothing. If you're raiding in Hellfire Citadel, nothing in Blackrock Foundry
it can
is
make
relevant.
time walk raids.
Yes,
Hint,
it
hint.
should. I just really would like
Yeah.
to see them make raids not be obsolete. Like I would rather see something like a 1 or a 2% upgrade in gear between one tier and the other, so that, like for instance, this in Warlords of Draenor, and this was a very common trend among guilds. We had High Maul, and if you weren't a super hardcore like crazy raider, you were 1 out of 7 mythic when
Right.
Blackrock Foundry came out. So like they could have waited 4 or 5 months to really put out Blackrock Foundry. And when Blackrock Foundry came out, my guild was 1, 2 out of 10 mythic, and now here's our guild, and we've been in this raid for
I also feel that a lot of other Blizzard games do a better job with longevity, and WoW could learn from that. Like, in Heroes, Hero doesn't become obsolete. Like, they all get new skins and balance updates. Or in Diablo with Seasons, it's like, you're doing the same thing, except there's a different set or, reward you get for doing things in a period of time. Or, Overwatch is a certain amount of heroes. Or with Hearthstone, they just introduced, Standard and Wild, but it's like, collect all these cards from the past, year, and Wild you can use any card. And with WoW it's like, oh, this raid's gone in like a few months, or pay to hit 100 and you don't have to do any of these zones that have all this cool lore, which people love because that's why they're all buying Chronicle.
They should have limited that. I feel like the idea of a boost is a great idea. Like, okay, like someone's coming back to the game. It's a great idea to include one boost. But like, there should never be a point where a new player can come and like, granted, like, I don't know anybody that would sit down and spend $600 on 10 boosts. But the fact that they theoretically could is like, it's harmful to the game, to the community.
Right. And I think that, I mean, between everyone's so excited about the old gods and then Chronicle covering all this other lore, like, people really, like, they want to care about the world and the story.
Yes.
And a lot of what's going on is that you're missing a lot of the story between boosting or, racing through zones or having, like, the old raids not having any incentive, outside of Transmog to go do them.
There's a couple things that they could do to really... Well, number one, I just want to touch on something you said a couple of minutes ago. Raids did not used to become obsolete immediately.
I know.
So it's so strange that was something that was implemented in Cataclysm and that we've just seen for 3 straight expansions now. Because in BC, my guild we were doing Karazhan, Magtheridon's Lair, and Gruul every week. We did 3 raids every week, and that was just on your main. And like, because there was so many options of what to do, like, it was really easy to find a pug to go do Gruul Mag.
And it was nice that they were all really varied because it made you think like, oh, like, why am I fighting ogres and then I'm fighting this elegant mansion and I'm gearing up to go fight Naga underwater, and it made you think about how all the things were connected.
Yeah, there felt like there wasn't so much obsolete. Towards the end, it got a little bit that way, because I do know that there was a catch-up mechanism that allowed you to skip SSC and TK and go straight into Hyjal.
I mean, like, that was getting pretty intense with the attunements required. That was too much, so, I mean, I think it made sense at the time that you could run, like, dungeons, and like, Tier 4 and Tier 5 and Tier 6, and if someone was missing for the week, you had a big problem. But yeah, I feel like, we've sort of swung the pendulum in the far opposite direction.
Yeah. And then a minute ago we were talking about things that maybe have gone wrong as far as leveling and hitting max level and what is discouraging people from going out in the world. And like I said, I really think that boosts should have been limited to 1 per account, because I feel like people should be going out and putting that time in and seeing the world, and not just for like, I put my time in, I walk both ways uphill, it's not really about that. It's just like, they put so much work into that over 10 years. Like, why make it obsolete? Why let people skip it? And then,
I hope they learn something from the Hearthstone experience, because a lot of people are like, well, I need a boost, or like, I need heirlooms because leveling is so bumpy. And it's like, well, maybe instead of making all that content obsolete, like, learn from all this Hearthstone new player feedback for Lady Leodrin and see about how the leveling experience can actually feel like fun and engaging and rewarding in its own way. So it's not like, oh, anything I do before 100 is a waste of time.
Well, and I think another thing that they could do that would really make leveling a better experience is, right now, if you have like a fresh level 1 that you want to level up to 100, the fastest way to do it is by dungeon grinding. And to me, that is very backwards. Like, dungeon grinding is easy, and it's like, there's no work. You stand in one spot, you queue, like, whatever. And in my opinion, you should be rewarded for going out in the world and questing. Like, that should be the faster way to level. And that they can't just like buff the experience, because it would ruin the progression of the storyline. What they really should do is go through and see which of these zones are not incredibly important to the main story and decipher main storyline from side quests.
Right, so and help you with UI things like, here's another bag, or like, here's a little like tutorial when you go play your level 1, or just like more tips like, oh, you're level 20, like, you should get a mount. I mean, I think they do some of that stuff, but they can work on making it feel like less overwhelming, because a lot of Hearthstone players are like, how does this fit into the rest of the story, or like, where do I go, or why is there a line to kill 1 mob? So there could be more prompts along the way.
Well, perfect example. I was talking about this last week, and I'm not sure if I said it on the show, but my sister-in-law is the best. She, like, really wants to share interests with me and Nick, so she started playing WoW about a year ago. I mean, 100% had never played an MMO. I don't even know if she's played a computer game before, and she's a little older than us, so she's not someone who's going into this as, like, somebody who spent a lot of time on a computer, like, whatever. So she's going to this from a very, like, naive point of view, and she doesn't want any help. Like, she will allow me to direct her to a Wowhead article, but she does not want me, like, telling her how to play the game. Like, which is adorable, right? Except that she's level 64, and I saw her in 64 in a year. It's so cute. But I saw her in the Badlands. I want to say, what is the area?
No, like,
she didn't like. No, she didn't know that you stopped getting experience for quests because they never stopped tracking on her mini map. There's
which is great. Right.
She didn't know. I mean, it wasn't like her fault. She thought you had to do every quest. So every zone she's been in, she has done every single
really
quest.
Sweet.
And then, like, she messages me in game the other day, and she's like, "Oh my God, when did they put Zeppelins in the game?"
Wow.
But that's like something that's so silly, but it's something I've always said. Like, why aren't there signs that tell you which Zeppelins go to which continent?
Yeah, just making that easier.
Like, why is that not a thing? And, like, maybe a quest, because she reads all the quests, like, why doesn't a quest say, like, why isn't there just a simple quest that says, like, oh, you should check out the other continent and then come back and tell me about it. That would direct you to go take a Zeppelin.
We have a message for the goblin guy across the world. Like, you know, take the Zeppelin and give it to him.
And, like, it's such a funny thing
to
yeah, it's such a funny bit of knowledge to, like, take advantage of. But, like, when I leveled, like, Nick helped me, and he had already been playing WoW, and he played, like, in the beta for vanilla. So, like, he had been playing for a couple years by the time I started playing. So I had, like, a little guide that took me through everything. And, like, it's crazy to think that a new player, like, at no point is there an indication to them that Gray does not give them experience. And at no point is there a quest that tells them to take a Zeppelin. Like, she didn't know the other continent, like, was a thing.
I think the adventure journal is trying to tell people what zone they should be in, but that could be a lot more obvious, or, like, it could flash if it's like, whoa, you're really doing the wrong thing. Like, click on the shiny button to figure out where you should go.
Yeah, or even, like, we see, like, in the Demon Hunter starting area, there's parts where Illidan pops up and talks to you. Like, maybe when you're under level 20, there could be an option that you would have to turn off. It would be automatically on. That would be, like, a racial person from your, like, say you picked a Tauren, so it'd be like a little Tauren Earth Mother, you know, who would, like, just kind of give you, like, little tips here and there, and she would, like, talk to you, and then you could turn her off if you know what you're doing. But, like, what an immersive, helpful experience that would be for a new player, like, to have someone actually
agree. Like,
really
hero, like, you know, there's an alert in Westfall, like, should go here versus killing, you know, kobolds and Elwyn.
Yeah.
Just a little, like, helpful nudge. Or,
just a helpful nudge, like, because I feel like that would be really helpful. And especially if they did go through and make it so that it didn't indicate to you that you need to do every quest, that they indicated, like, this is a less important quest than this quest, and people were, you know, incentivized that they're going to get a little more experience if they're doing all these main quests, and it's going to be, I don't want to say, like, a directly linear experience, but an experience that is guided.
But, like, if you do a dungeon, and then, like, the racial leader could be like, hey, like, you should, like, just, like, something telling you that the dungeon is related to a storyline in a specific zone, and that you should go check that zone out too.
That was the thing. When I was leveling in Burning Crusade, you would be questing, and then you'd find a quest, and the quest would be to go do a dungeon, and that was really exciting when that happened. You're like, oh, now I get to go to the Hearthstone and summon people, and we're going to do a thing, you know? But that was how leveling was. You didn't sit and do the same dungeon 10 times. You literally you got, like, 3 or 4 quests in your hub, wherever you were, to do the dungeon. You did the quest. You might do the dungeon twice if you didn't get everything for it the first time. And then you go on, you move on, and it's a very, like, immersive experience. Whereas now I feel like it's just rush, 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 go, go, go. Like, okay, my quests are not yellow anymore, so we're moving on, dropping 20 quests in this zone.
When I was doing, when I was leveling for the Hearthstone portrait, I was in Darkshire, and I just finished this really sad quest, and then it's like, oh, look, all my quests turn green. Like, if I wanted to do this optimally, I would just abandon this really sad quest line I'm halfway through and just leave and, like, not care.
Yeah.
So, like, that did not seem... Like, that's not really immersive at all. It's just, like, because you just have so many parts of the story left undone, and if you stick with it, experience goes really slow, and leveling feels bumpy, so you don't want to do that either.
Yeah, so I feel like it's almost like they either need to make, like, main quests and side quests, or maybe even go through, like, we always hear about ability pruning, hashtag stop the prune. Maybe we need quest pruning. Maybe since we're getting experience at such a rapid rate, maybe they need to go through and take some of the less important quests out, or like I said, indicate that they are not as important so that people are getting a relevant amount of experience. And I mean, part of that is right now is heirlooms. Like, part of the problem is that someone like you or me would have 50% experience off the bat, but for a new player, even new players are not able to finish a zone without quests going green, and to me that's wrong.
Yeah, a lot of players are also asking me, like, oh, if I want to do the main story quest in the zone, like, tell me which I should do, or tell me what are the quests that are related to, Chronicle, or, like, the really important ones for the expansions. So having some sort of indicator, I think, would be really useful, because it's like, okay, well, like, what's the silly poop quest versus what's going to have the really awesome cutscene at the end.
Absolutely. Like, and I think that's something that should really be looked at, because that experience... Like, just, there's no point in skipping. Like, people say, like, oh, there's no content in the game, right? But, like, it's there. It's just really odd.
It's just not presented very well.
Blizzard is encouraging you to skip it. Like,
right.
Which is so bizarre to me. Like, I just feel like, make it rewarding. And I feel like when we see Legion coming and like, scaled questing and scaled zones... That's huge. Like, that is a huge step in the right direction. Being able to group up with a friend who's a different level than you and be getting experience at an equivalent rate. And
I would love that to be for the old zones, too.
Yes, that was exactly where I was going with that. Now, we know you have the technology. We know you have the technology for time walking raids, and we know you have the technology for scaled zones. We're on to you, Blizzard. We're on to you. So we got really off topic, and I'm really sorry about that. But we
didn't have an alpha build.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? But Wowhead did do some new videos on Legion spell animations this week.
Yeah. So the melee ones are generally a lot more interesting than the caster ones. So we've been focusing on them. We're halfway done. So if anyone wants us to feature a spec we haven't done yet, let us know and we'll try to get to that. But we did Unholy Death Knights, and they had a really cool Dark Valkyr pet. And with the Sludge Belcher talent, you can get a ghoul that looks like Stitches, and with Dark Transformation, he turns into Rotface. And purple, like, each spec has a theme for the colors that go with their animations, and Unholy Death Knights are all about being purple. Enhancement Shaman. Yeah.
Okay.
Enhancement Shaman got a lot of cool updates that weren't just like, oh, when you hit the mob, you have a trail of colorful sparkles in its wake. It was things like lava and frost wolves, an effect where you split the ground and lava comes out, fire and frost spikes hitting the target, and some really cool wind effects. So I would recommend checking that one out. That's one of my favorites. For Arms Warrior, they're really brightly colored. A lot of people have said that it's sort of like you're swinging around a wet paintbrush, because they have... Some animations have this golden swish behind it, some have this big red swish, and some have a navy blue swish. So you're like, oh, painting with all the colors, primary colors. But Bladestorm got a really cool revamp, which is why we decided to prioritize Arms Warriors. And we also did Protection Warriors, because they have Black Dragonflight influences. A black dragon comes out of your shield and breathes fire. And one of the artifact traits... when you use Demoralizing Roar, a Vrykul comes out and then roars with you. And Thunderclap got a really cool animation and also really nice sound effects. So I think that one's cool as well. And finally, we did Elemental Shaman today, and Lava Burst leaves volcanic ash, and there's some more lightning effects. Your artifact has a cool kind of starburst, and then it summons a different type of elemental. And yeah, I mean, we have 18 done so far.
One of the big things, I mean, you did...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm rude. I'm sorry. That was super rude. I was just going to say, I had done a video right at the beginning of Legion, like the first day the Elemental Shamans were available, and I thought the biggest change they made was actually Lightning Bolt.
Oh yeah, we try in the videos to show what's actually... We do a version on the PTR and then on live servers side by side, so you can see exactly what's changed.
It's so different.
Yeah, and Chain Lightning as well. Like, you're like, oh, they're still blue, but the one on Alpha has a few more crackles in it, like individual strands of lightning. Which, when you see it side by side, you're like, wow, they really made an effort to update all these little things to make it just feel more satisfying.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That was super rude.
I was done summarizing.
I just got excited. I was like, we're talking about shamans. We're talking about shamans.
Excited. Like, I thought that the Stitches Ghoul was super cool, and the Dark Valkyr, I think, was the coolest part of that.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah. So, yeah, there actually wasn't too much on live servers either, so we'll just like maybe run through some stuff coming up and then we'll go to the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Noble Garden's coming up. Starts on Monday.
Yep. I don't think there's anything new this year, but you should get your bunny ears and your cute bunny pets.
But they added stuff last year. There's like a new mount from like.
It's the pet. It's
oh yeah,
it's not the pet, it's the companion that's like the little Easter flower.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where like they didn't update it this year, but they will update it next year with Legion, I guarantee it. And like we did get updates last year, and I feel like, and I don't know this is a fact, but I feel like if I worked at Blizzard, I would base whether I was going to update an event on if they got the thing from last year or not. You know, like how many people actually went and got that new item last year. So go get the items so that we get an update, guys.
Yeah, that's when Noble Garden starts. We always have Wowhead's annual Noble Garden egg hunt on the site.
It's so fun.
Yeah, we have these clues for you have to find the eggs hidden on the database, and then when you find the egg, you get entered in to win a bunch of cool stuff. We'll have some, in-game trading card mounts, but the Blizzard Gear Store has also generously donated a ton of really cool items like the Bulwark of Azeroth backpack and some of the NECA Heroes figurines. So that will be up on Monday, I believe, and yeah, it's always a really fun giveaway on the site. And finally, the last thing is that just wanted to plug GCD TV's tournament. Their EU Tournament 4 is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at twitch.tv GCD TV. And it's at 6:30 p.m. Central Eastern Time, and we'll be retweeting them on Wowhead in case you're not sure what time zone that converts to with everything going on. And yeah, they've done a really great job trying to help WoW esports community, and they help promote our PvP talent calculator, and we like spending time developing, resources for Legion features. So yeah, we like working with them.
Yeah. They were in chat last week when we were talking about the alpha client for the Battle.net voice chat, and apparently that is like all the rage among PvPers right now because they're so vulnerable to attacks using Skype, but they need that open mic chat. So apparently that's been a big thing, is like all the PvPers are super excited about an in-game chat that could actually work for Arena.
That is really cool. I'm actually not invited yet, so I can't.
I got invited. Haha.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have but I don't have any friends that also got invited, so I can't test it anyway. Because I'm the only one I know who's in it.
Oh well. But yeah, no, they're awesome. Definitely, give them a follow. They're also on Twitter at GCDTV _dash. Movie time.
So I have a slideshow. I'm going to show you guys the slideshow, and then we'll talk about it, and then I'll show you the slideshow again, because it's not that long.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong slideshow. That's the wrong slideshow. That's also there we go. Third time's the charm. So we're going to talk about this a little more in detail, but there's a few new movie posters, which kind of, in my opinion, get increasingly better as you see them. Then there's also a bunch of still frames from the 2 new movie promo spots that we got this week. So, and my favorite one is coming up. It's like the Garona derp face. I'm not really sure what they were capturing, but it's a meme waiting to happen.
No, that's my favorite.
No, not that one. Ready? It's coming. It's coming in I think it's the next frame after this. What is that?
It's like,
so cute. It's like the cutest thing. I'm not mad at it. And then there's a couple really cool shots of Stormwind. Oh, I can't wait for this movie. And another one of Gul'dan. And Travis Fimmel.
By the Dark Portal.
And that's behind the scenes of the Dark Portal. And I think that's all we got right now. So let's talk a little bit about this, and then we'll let everybody see it again so that they can kind of know what we're talking about. But as far as the posters go, and I was fairly critical of this. Was it on Wowhead Weekly last week that I was critical of the poster?
So I think the poster just came out around Wowhead Weekly. We were like, oh, a new poster. But then afterwards we looked at it and we're like, whoa, there's some issues with the poster going on.
Yeah. So I went off on Twitter about it. I had a full on oh no you didn't rant. Because in the very first movie poster that we see for the Warcraft movie, number 1, King Lane is on the wrong side. I don't know why they would put him on the Horde side. Oh, thank you so much for subscribing, Gramps1969.
Awesome.
Yay. I love seeing the little animation come up. It's the best thing.
I know.
I got distracted. Shiny things just happened. anyways, on the first poster, King Lane is on the wrong side. It's very weird. There's also a griffin flying that's on the Horde side. And Garona is, like, the Photoshop in general on the poster is
I don't know,
not
like,
fantastic.
between, like, the costume and then, like, her skin tone is very...
Her skin, she's straight up white. They whitewashed
Yeah.
an orc. Like, Hollywood, you've gone too far. Like, that's an odd thing to do. But she's just literally, like, a human with pointy ears. Like, she does not look orcish at all. And another thing is, like, the Photoshop was really odd. They, like, tried to make her chest bigger or, like, make her skinnier or something, but there was a very clear, like, bad Photoshop where, like, they pulled her chest out too far and it looked comical. And I don't know. The first poster was an absolute disaster.
They removed it from Twitter, actually, so maybe it was a draft that wasn't meant to go live. I'm not sure.
No, I honest to God hope that they released that poster, saw the feedback from the hardcore fans, and said, okay, you're right. Because the second poster is significantly... Thank you so much for subscribing, DZoon54.
Oh, thank you.
This is great. Thank you so much. Pepe's so excited. So that's really encouraging to me because that poster was up for a couple days. It's not like it was up for a half an hour and then they pulled it down. Right. It was up for several days. And then, we saw a lot of people in the WoW community, including Duncan Jones, including the director.
Marketing.
Yeah, even being critical of, the fact that Garona is not green, the Photoshop is odd, that clearly, like, whoever did this poster, like, doesn't even know the story because they put the wrong characters on the wrong sides of the... Yeah, so there's a lot of odd stuff. So to see the second poster come out where Garona, at least, I still think she looks pretty white, but she at least has a green tinge to her skin.
I like how she's wearing battle armor, and it isn't a bikini thing, but, like, in all the shots, she's very actiony, like, she's in the battle, she's, showing that she's, like, really skilled in combat, she's fighting, so it makes sense that she's wearing her distinctive armor, and she's actually holding a weapon, as opposed to being in, like, I don't know.
No, I totally
It was hard to tell
agree.
what it was because it was very photoshopped, but it was some sort of like bikini, like fantasy rag.
Well, I think it was her slave outfit from when she was like Gul'dan's slave, because you can see in the screenshot that her neck has like imprints. There's one screenshot where you can very clearly see she's got a collar. They're like doing slave Leia all over again. And you know what the worst part is? That's the cosplay we're going to see of Garona. Like, that's going to be like the iconic Garona costume when... that's not a great representation of her. She didn't choose that. Like, as a strong character, she chose to wear armor. It was when she was a slave to Gul'dan that she was in this leather bikini thing. So I'm really glad that they did make those changes. And then when we saw the poster, the close-up of Garona, she is green. She's green. Yeah. She looks really cool. I like that they did the whole torn between worlds. They did a great job on her promotional poster. And I also really liked the Lothar Duratan poster. Even though I'm still hotly complaining that Toby Kebbell has gotten half the press. If half.
Maybe it'll be ramping up, hopefully. You should put your interviews out.
I'm working on it. Listen, I started, like, side note, we'll just put a pin in what we're talking about for a second. I started to do some of the transcribing of my interviews, and I quickly learned that I cannot type as fast as people talk. And I did for about 10 minutes, and I got so overwhelmed and just feeling really down on myself that I needed to, like, take a break. And I know that's, like, very dramatic sounding, but I was just feeling like I can't keep up. And, like, I had to listen to every part, like, 5 times. And, like, I have probably 6 hours of footage.
You could maybe just, like, make the videos or ask someone to help transcribing. That's really...
Well, I decided what I was doing it in the wrong order. So when I go back to do this again, I'm going to choose the video that I want to make, and rather than transcribing it in text and then going through and putting cool effects on the text in the video, I'm just going to do it all at once because it takes me so long to do each sentence. Why not just do the editing at the same time? So I'm going to definitely try to get my Toby Kebbell one out first, because that is my giant complaint, is that nobody seems to care about Toby Kebbell when, like, he has so much experience doing this kind of method acting. He played an ape in Planets of the Apes, you know what I mean? Like, he obviously, like, is going to be really good about this, and he even talks about that in my interview, and, like, how he had to, get into character to play an orc, and, like, they said that one of the things that they did was they tied a tire, like, to a rope around their midsection, because he said it was really important for the CG that you walked with weight. Like, you're not, you're not really a 160, 180 pound guy. Like, you're this 600 pound orc that has so much beef when you walk. Yeah. So they, like, had them practice walking, dragging weights, so that they would be able to feel what that was like. So I think it's really interesting to hear his process of how he was really excited for this role too, because he actually got to gain weight. Like, he had to lose a lot of weight to play. He was in this movie called Rick Rock and Roller, I think.
Okay.
And he had to lose a bunch of weight for that. And this one he had to gain weight because they wanted him to be like as heavy as possible, because that was one of the big things with that motion capture suit. So they wanted him to walk as if he was actually an orc, and you can't really do that when you're a scrawny guy. So anyways, back to what we were talking about. We also got to see the behind the scenes shot of the Dark Portal being under construction. I did not get to see the Dark Portal while I was on the set. That must have already been taken down, because I was there on like the second to last day of filming. So I'm pretty sure that was like long gone by the time I got there. But I wish I could have seen it.
Yeah. We also saw 2 of the movie spots. Since we last talked over the weekend, actually, spot 3 was the one that introduced Gul'dan in the slideshow. And we also got a close-up shot of Lady Taria's dagger, as well as Lothar tossing Garona a weapon to use, which was a nice moment of teamwork. And then spot 4 was an exclusive spot that made its debut during the Halo World Championship on Sunday, and that has a new shot of Stormwind in the opening, a different shot of Gul'dan, Lothar at the Dark Portal, and Khadgar casting a spell. And it's a big deal because we haven't really seen Khadgar in much before, and we still haven't seen Medivh in much stuff as well yet at this point.
He's on the poster now, though.
Yeah, they actually, I was going to say, they also moved him and Medivh between that earlier poster and then this poster.
Yeah, so I'm glad that we're seeing him there at least. As far as the things that we saw in the 2 new promos, like I said, one of the big things that I noticed is that we saw Garona in a stark contrast between her slave version, where her hair is it's like matted and in dreadlocks, and she's got her bone accessory, and then we also see her in Stormwind armor, using these really fancy weapons. I really like to see that. We saw the dwarves again. We saw quite a bit of Khadgar. Khadgar we have seen a ton of in the most recent spots.
He's so young.
I know, he's a little baby. And I actually really like that we're seeing Lady Taria, because Lady Taria is somebody who has been spoken about in WoW lore before, but we've never seen her. Her art wasn't shown in the card game. She is not in game anywhere. She was not in Warcraft 1, 2, or 3. She's one of those looming figures that we've known existed but didn't ever see her. So to see an incarnation of her in real life is very cool, I think.
Yeah, I think they're also including her as one of the Funko blind sets coming in April.
Ooh.
Garona has 2 different costumes, and she has one. She made it in.
Yeah, and she's in a royal, she's kind of dressed up like a queen. Yeah. So I'm going to go through and let you guys see the slideshow again, and then we're going to talk about Face Off.
Yeah.
So this was the original poster that was bad. Look at her boob. Oh, I should have paused that. But this one is so much better.
It's good.
Yeah.
That's the best skin tone for her.
For sure. Well, that's the realistic skin tone.
Yeah.
So, and here's some new images from stills from the spots that we saw this week. See, and there's a Garona, and she's in a leather orc armor. In a minute, you'll see her in full Stormwind plate armor, which I really like, even though she's a rogue, so it doesn't make a ton of sense. But see, there's the collar around her neck with the chain. That's Lady Taria's. Yep, there's the dagger. There's the dirt face. And there she is in full armor. I guess it's not plate. It could be leather. And there's the beautiful shot of Stormwind. Gul'dan again. I have an interview with the guy who played Gul'dan as well. That's one of the people I had interviews with, yeah. And his interview was really interesting because we talked about he was another one that had to wear motion capture stuff, but he had to do...
Yeah, he was hunched over.
Yeah, the entire thing. I saw the motion capture stuff because he was one of the people that was still filming, and he had to wear this shoulder harness that had spikes on it with the motion capture balls. The entire time. Really that was 3 feet tall. Yeah, so it was I think he got in best shape of anybody there just from the amount of squatting and bending over and holding all this stuff up.
Yeah.
While he was there. So, this is exciting. So this week, World of Warcraft was featured on Sci-Fi's Face Off. And if you've never seen Face Off is an awesome show. It's about special effects makeup. So not beauty makeup, not we're going to do makeover at Sephora.
Horror.
Horror and zombies. They did a Walking Dead episode one time, and this week they did World of Warcraft. And it was marketed as World of Warcraft, but they did have Rob Kaczynski on as a judge, so I think this is all supposed to tie into the Warcraft movie. We also saw Chris Robinson, who is the art director. So, yeah, they did a Tauren, a Troll, a Goblin, a Worgen, and a Death Knight. I don't have a spoiler tag, but spoiler, if you care about who won, mute us for 10 seconds. Okay, so the Death Knight, the Draenei Death Knight won, and the Goblin was eliminated. Okay,
And they also didn't really like the Worgen.
Yeah,
but the
well, yeah, it wasn't. I mean, there were definitely standout good ones. It was sad though because the girl who made the Worgen played WoW.
Aww.
So but I feel like she got a really hard one. Like, I don't know, like Draenei have a more human-esque face to begin with. Like, you're not structuring as much as you're. Like, a Worgen should have that outward nose. Same thing with the Tauren. I thought the Tauren was awesome, but he looked like a Tonka. He didn't look like a Tauren because of the flat face. So I feel like those were really tough, in my opinion. Like, I feel like the Troll, Draenei, even if they had done, like, I don't know, like Blood Elves would have been cool because they have really, like, high cheekbones and the big ears they would have had to make. So I kind of just feel like the people who got the more distinctly humanoid races had a little bit of an advantage. But then again, the Goblin obviously didn't. But I did download this clip if you guys would like to take a moment to watch it. And this is facial morphs of the models and then in their full makeup. So check it out. This is, I believe, the this is the Troll. Troll was awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
They do all the costuming on this show, too. This was the Worgen. This is the Tauren. Looks like creepy and realistic, but not like a Tauren, just in a creepy way for me. Something out of Pan's Labyrinth. This is the Draenei that won. And the Draenei was arguably the best. So good. Like, really, really amazing.
The hair is really good, too.
Yeah, this is the Goblin. So, I don't know. I feel like the biggest problem for me with the Goblin was the skin tone. It was, like, too much, like, pink or something. Like, it was just, like, off.
Yeah, the brown highlights just seemed off, and, like, the expression wasn't crafty enough.
And it should have been funnier.
Like, the earrings should have had more bling because they're all about, gold and collecting things.
Well, not only that, but they usually have, like, the big stretchers or, like, fun piercings. And the other thing that really stood out to me as someone who plays World of Warcraft is that her hair wasn't right. Goblins...
Oh, it's like the long white hair. Like, they always... They have the,
and it came just out of the middle. It was, like... It was like orcish hair, but it was really strange.
Yeah, for like neon and all different fun colors.
Yeah, and they usually have kind of like scene or like emo-y type hair. So I don't know. I just was that was what really stood out to me as like the weirdest thing about the goblins. Number one, she looked evil, and goblins are not evil. That's not the right personality for them. And the hair was really strange. But the Draenei looked awesome. But like I said, I think it was really odd that we didn't see like an orc. Like, I feel like
to tie into the movie, but then be like, oh well, I'm a human, which is kind of easy.
Yeah, but an orc wouldn't have been that easy, and like it would have gone with Draenei. I mean, they kind of come, they don't really come from the same place, but they have like a lore thing in common, and just I feel like the Worgen and the Tauren were stand out much more difficult, just because they have that outward face, and they didn't really have the appropriate prosthetics or something.
Yeah, also the dimensions, like they're meant to be, taller, and like the Tauren are hunched over, and the Worgen just have it like a different, skeleton type, and it just like it's harder to make it seem more believable.
Yeah, whereas the Troll seemed very easy to believe. So I guess I would have just liked to see maybe a night elf or an orc, just something, just so that they all were sticking with more humanoid things, or like even like a female and a male troll, because there are distinct differences between those two things. They could have all done trolls and they would have all looked different. I just feel like it was really kind of unfair to have some people, even though the animal humanoids did fine, I feel like it would have been a little more fair for everybody to do something a little more in the same wheelhouse. But it was definitely really cool to see the outcomes of everything. Now we're going to move on to merchandise stuff, because I know you guys love that so much. Our Chronicles giveaway, the Wowhead Chronicles giveaway, is open until Saturday, which if you're watching this on YouTube, that would be today. If you're watching this on Twitch, that would be tomorrow. So if you have not entered the Chronicles giveaway...
You mean reverse?
No, if you're watching it on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, all right, gosh. Yeah. I have a hard enough time with locations. Please don't make me have a hard time with times. But if you want to go enter to win a copy of the Chronicles, go do so, wowhead.com. I think right now it's been pushed to the second page, but it's
we have a little announcement bar at the top of the front page, so you can still
perfect. So yeah. Oh, I'm excited about this. So we have
All right.
more photos of our Wild Bangarang stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a little slideshow. I'm actually wearing mine, so I'll show you. But let me show the slideshow first. I think we're on. Nope, this one.
Yep, there we go.
You look amazing. I love your armor. Those are the Arthas leggings. You can see the Sylvanas leggings in this one a little bit.
Yeah, I'll try to take a better picture of them.
And then these are the Frostfire leggings, although to me they look like
they're really
chain
good
lightning.
Shaman Pride.
Yeah, right? And then these are the Classed Crest leggings, which have all of the classes in World of Warcraft. The Arthas ones are so good, though. And that armor
I know.
that you're wearing is
it's
so
really
good.
cool how they're asymmetrical because they've got a gigantic skull on one side, and then on the other they have plate, and they have like this sort of decaying fur on them, and the silver. It's really good, and it works really well if you are trying to dress up and wear something that's black because the silver matches really well. While the Sylvanas is harder to pair up because it's more like a dark brown or a muted gray, and the purple is white, so it's harder to pair that up. But the Arthas goes really well with metallics and black.
Yeah, I'm wearing the Frostfire ones right now. Although, like I said, they're very chain lightning to me. When I think of Frostfire, I think of Frostfire Bolt for mages,
right.
which is, orange and blue. So when I saw these, I wanted them because they looked like chain lightning to me, and I play a shaman. So also, I would definitely head over to Wild Bangarang's Twitter at Wild Bangarang, because they have samples right now of the dragon flights, including Ysera and Alexstrasza. Tier 3, we see the Tier 3 mage, and Overwatch leggings.
Exciting.
I know, which they showed Vidalmeka and Diva. So very, very excited about those. It's funny because me and Perk discussed this because we never want to get the same leggings because we want to be able to show you guys more. So if they are so generous to offer, I will be getting the Diva ones. She'll get the Widowmaker ones. So that we're not overlapping. But I'm also super excited about the dragon aspects. Like so excited about the dragon aspects. I guess I don't care so much for the tier sets because then I think we're getting into an area that's slightly more obscure. You know what I mean? Like the reference isn't
trying to be like class pride, like, oh, like these are the mage leggings. I think that would be okay because I know class. Lots of people were asking. They're like, oh, like, is there like a like are there rogue leggings? Because I rogue and not this Death Knight. Like I don't want to wear the Death Knight.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm definitely excited to see what they come out with because it seems like every time they come out with a new collection, there's something in there that's like I have to Pepe.
Oh no, what happened to him?
He fell. He fell. And I saw it in my camera, him tipping over in the background. He's fine. He's BB-8 today. But I'm just so excited to see what else they come out with because everything they've come out with so far has been really, really great.
Maybe I got Tier 3 mixed up with the Diva ones, so maybe I'm just...
Oh, I mean, that's possible too. Because the Diva ones did kind of have a look that they could have been Tier or something, but they were definitely Diva.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, I'm sure that they're going to be coming out with future World of Warcraft ones because I know in talks in the past we've heard the name Alexstrasza thrown around. So
yeah, and they put Ysera up on their Instagram. I want to say in January. I think Overwatch. They were pitching the idea, so we don't know if it's going to happen.
It better happen.
I know they had the. Samples.
I mean, they've tweeted 2 pictures of the Widowmaker leggings.
I know they're so good. I feel like the Widowmaker design is one that you could wear with something longer, and it's one of those styles where you wouldn't miss out if you. Like some, it's like, oh, like with Arthas, it's good if you wear something that's like super short or short.
Perk and I were also strategic about which leggings we got because neither of us wanted the key art ones that actually feature pictures of Arthas and Sylvanas.
Because basically,
because it's up on your hip. So if you wore shorts or something, you would miss out on some of the design. But this is exciting too. I have a gallery for this. That is this one. Okay, so Baby Winston is a thing.
Oh, so cute.
Baby Winston is the thing that's happening. He's so cute. They're also coming out possibly with Murloc slippers. Adorable. And then in this picture, you can also see that there are bronze and blue drakes that we have not seen in the past. So really excited about all of the new plushies that will be coming to the store soon. I'm particularly excited about the Winston plush. But
I know, especially after we saw the Recall short, which we'll talk about.
I know. Let's talk about the Recall short right now before we move on to discounts. So if you guys didn't see it, Overwatch put out an animated short that featured Winston. It was called Recall, and it's available on Xbox's YouTube channel. So definitely go watch it if you haven't seen it. You can also go to overking.com, and they have a whole feature on it with screen caps and stuff. But it was basically a brief kind of behind the monkey.
Yeah, like an origin story.
Yeah, like a very brief origin story, almost like a teaser that kind of gave us insight that Winston was, I don't want to say a science experiment, but he was raised by a scientist in a researching type environment, but a loving research environment. And he was also raised in a spaceship. And we don't know what happened to said scientist, but we haven't gotten any updates on where he was. But we know that the glasses that Winston wears are the doctor, the scientist who raised him. His name was Harold or Henry Winston. And so he has his glasses on. That's where his glasses came from. We also see that he really likes peanut butter. You see him eat it as a little baby, and as an adult, he eats it. And in the animated short, Overwatch has been disbanded at this point. We know that, in the Overwatch story, in the universe, there was some sort of like crisis where robots got too smart and basically like waged war against the humans. So the humans combined all their military powers and formed Overwatch, which was basically like to protect humanity against these like omnic terrorists, which they won. And then after they won, they stuck around together and kept the order for a while, and then eventually disbanded, and like half of them are mercenaries. Reaper is a mercenary, Widowmaker is a mercenary. I don't know.
There's a really cool picture at the start of like everyone together when they're part of Overwatch, when Winston's looking over his pictures, which I found that kind of poignant.
I thought the pictures in general, like at one point you do see Winston like scrolling through the pictures, and at the very beginning, just in like sitting in, and he's actually in Gibraltar, which is a map on Overwatch. That's where he is. He's in like his little research facility on Gibraltar. He considers like recalling everybody from Overwatch because he's lonely. He's just like watching his Hearthstone stream. Well, he's watching a Hearthstone stream, and then he's watching the news, and the news is just kind of talking about like we're slipping back into chaos, but apparently there was some sort of order put into place that like Overwatch is illegal because it was whatever, but Overwatch is illegal. They're basically vigilantes. They're not, even though they were good guys, they're not, whatever is in power now does not agree with the way they handle things. So, you hear he's got like an AI that talks to him. Her name's Athena, and I think we're going to see her as a hero in the future, but that's just speculation. And Athena tells him, you can't recall everybody. It's too dangerous. Like, it's punishable by law. Like, you can't do this. So he like sighs and like makes the choice not to. And then Reaper breaks into the Gibraltar facility and tries to steal the information from Winston on the locations of every Overwatch agent ever. And Winston ends up winning that match. And at the end, he makes the decision to recall everybody from Overwatch. And what's exciting about this is that we see really cool. 15 heroes that are not currently in Overwatch are flashed on the screen. And I was really like enhancing, because I downloaded the clip and then I slowed that down as much as my editing software would allow, then imported the slow down quit and slowed it down as much as it would allow again. So it's basically down, because there's only like 1 to 2 frames for each hero that you actually can see them, and they're not blurred out. And what was really interesting about this is back at BlizzCon 2014, when Overwatch was announced, there was this artwork that was previewed with the announcement.
Yeah, like some were like very shadowy in the background.
Well, and some of them are very much in the foreground. Like I can tweet it out if you guys want. But I actually went through and circled, I think there were 6 or 7 of the 15 heroes were previewed in the 2014 poster. So, and I think some of them may not make it into the final game. Maybe they're not planned at all, but we do know Jeff Kaplan has confirmed there will be new heroes in Overwatch. They will not be pay to play. When you buy Overwatch for whatever it is, 40, 50, 60 bucks, you're getting all current content, all future content. Any premium purchases will be strictly vanity. So it's really exciting to know that, any new heroes is something that you're going to get in the future. And there
was a lot of visual variety with them as well. It wasn't, like some did not look totally finished. They look kind of generic, but like there's like a lot of, female heroes, there's some male heroes, there's a lot of different hairstyles.
Yeah.
Well, and
like,
I hate these like chips embedded in them. Like I liked how there was a variety.
I kept seeing a lot of people saying, oh, they all look generic. And I think I'm at this point where I just want to be like linking the dictionary definition for generic, because just because someone is a military human does not mean they're generic. We have no idea what their abilities are. We have no idea. You know what I mean? It's such a hard thing to be like, oh, well, they're...
I think what they mean is that like everyone in Overwatch has a very distinctive, unique silhouette, and like they're visually different. Like, Mercy has the wings, and Widowmaker has like a very classical silhouette, and like, Tracer is like, zooming all over the place, and like Reaper has the distinctive hood. So I guess people are thinking that, like maybe the guys would get a different haircut before they became heroes.
But
like
it's
I'm looking
also,
at
like,
this, and some are pretty different.
I also
But
feel like,
some are
for
still
all
not
you
there.
know, one of, like, you're seeing just the headshots. They could have 2 robot legs.
Right. That could be.
You know what I mean?
Could,
I feel like we do not have enough information to make assumptions like that. And I do know that 2 of the human men are in the poster. The guy with the mullet and the guy with the mustache. There's like a big guy with a mustache, or he has like a 5 o'clock shadow of a mustache. Those 2 humans are in the 2014 poster. And it's also like hard too, because some of those you don't know how concept arty, the concept art.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
art's very different across them. You have some that look like they're drawn like they're in a cartoon, and some look more realistic. Like I think there's like 4 in the art style, and the other 11 are in a different style.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like fine for now. But like when you look at them, you're like, wow, they're really distinctive. But when you're zooming past, you don't notice that they are different. But I wonder if that means that maybe the ones that are drawn are going to be heroes like sooner than later because they have art for them yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely interested to find out. And there was still two in the 3. There were 3 in the original 2014 poster that were not in this teaser. There was like a guy who was kind of reminiscent of oh my god, he was in Power Rangers. I can't think of his name now, but he's basically in like some sort of weird hazmat mech suit. There's also a girl with green hair that looks like a ninja. I guess it's possible she got turned into Genji or something, but I know that originally Genji and Hanzo were one hero, so I kind of doubt that. And then there's also a girl with a blonde ponytail that's not Mercy, that has a very different look from Mercy, like off to one side. So as you can tell, I've been doing some homework on this situation. And I definitely think we saw a red robot that looked similar to Reinhardt. He was in the 2014 poster with Reinhardt, and then we saw him again show up in this reel. So I kind of think we're going to see him be in the game. Also, the guy with the metal jaw, he was in the poster as well. So I do think I would.
I'm looking at the poster right now, and I see him.
I can send it too. I actually have one with them circled of like who was who and what.
Cool.
Because I have no life. But yeah, so I definitely think I would be surprised if the ones that we saw flashes of in this teaser that were also in the 2014 poster, I would be shocked if they didn't become heroes, because we've now had them foreshadowed twice. And I don't necessarily think that just because something might look generic at a glance that means that they really are generic, because something like Diva would look pretty generic if you just saw a picture of her, but she controls
she'd have
a
the
mech.
stuff on her face. But yeah, I mean,
she's just got little whiskers, but you wouldn't really see that. I'm just saying, like, I feel like she wouldn't look like anything special either, because her everything special is this mech. Or even like, Junkrat. Like, Junkrat is just like a crazy looking guy, but his whole shtick is like he's got one metal leg, and I don't know. I'm white knighting right now.
We should go on to our discounts.
Yes!
Pepsi's excited about
Yes.
discounts.
Okay, so I ran out of room for more things, so we have to say the visual. We have to actually say the codes because I didn't have any more slots for images. I'm sorry.
All right.
It's okay. We still have an active discount with Jinx through the end of the month. It is good for all Hearthstone merchandise, which is a lot, and it's also cool because even if you're not a big fan of Hearthstone, a lot of that falls under like the WoW.
Yeah, like Youth-Based Axis.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that you might be interested in, even if you do not play Hearthstone. That is code Wowhead, and it is good for 25% off of anything Hearthstone, which is a huge discount. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. That's jinx.com. The code is Wowhead. Then this is Perk's favorite code ever.
Yeah.
It is a discount for the Blizzard Gear Shop. It is for 15% off all plushies, and that does include the Zergling slippers, the Abathur hat, the plushies that come with in-game perks like Stitches or the Griffin or Wyvern. That is code WowheadP, like plushie 15. WowheadP15 will get you 15% off. That code will be valid through the end of the month, and we will announce April's code on the next stream.
And it's for a secret item.
Yes. Cool. Yes, we're excited about this. Perk and I know, but we're keeping secrets from you. I'll also contact the guy from Jinx and see if we can get a new Jinx code as well.
That'd be cool.
And then Blizzard also has some sales going on just on their own lonesome that are unrelated to our codes. Right now there is a Winston and Reaper shirt bundle that if you buy both t-shirts you get $10 off. And I'm wearing the Reaper shirt, and I feel like as a female this is important because this is not a plain t-shirt. It is, hold on, let me adjust my camera. It's called a butterfly cut t-shirt. So it's like looser at the top and tighter at the bottom, and it has like flowy sleeves. And I think it's really flattering on like all body types. So if you were interested in getting a shirt from the Blizzard Gear Shop, I feel like even if you weren't a big fan of Overwatch or Reaper, it's a really cool shirt. I get a ton of compliments on it, and I just feel like it's very, very flattering and comfortable. The Winston shirt for females is a like kind of scoop neck, and it's got like a portrait of Winston. In my experience, stuff from the Blizzard Gear Shop runs a little small, so if you fall in between sizes, like I'm always in between a small and a medium, definitely go a size up. So like both of these are mediums and they fit me good.
And the Overwatch shirts are a good example of how Blizzard's varying their styles
more
for women's fashion.
So great. Like, it was for a long time when you would get any sort of like World of Warcraft or any video game shirt, really, you were essentially just getting a small men's shirt. Yeah. There was nothing, it wasn't, a lot of times they weren't fitted, and then even when they got better about them being fitted and stuff, they were still just plain t-shirts, like nothing special about them. And now we're constantly getting different necklines. This is the best. I want them to make more shirts like this because this is my favorite shirt. I wear it all the time. They also make, I know the Farah shirt is like a complete boat neck. It like is almost off the shoulder and it's long sleeved. Then the
Zarya is a tank.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, they have a couple tank tops. I didn't get those because they're super, super low cut. But the Bastion shirt is like just like classily low cut. I wore that recently. So I don't know. I just
bird on it.
Yeah, it's Pepe. So cute, and it also looks
Bastion
super
needs
cute.
a Pepe. Yeah.
Yes. It also looks so cute when you wear the Overwatch jacket with the Bastion shirt because just the little bird sticks out if you have it zipped up halfway. It's like my favorite thing. But yeah, so that bundle is $10 off right now. I actually bought it for Nick because I already had both of the shirts, but Nick is like maining Reaper right now and he also plays Winston, so I bought him that, and that's when I bought the medium of the shirt from the Last Chance sale, which is what we're going to talk about next. Blizzard's Last Chance sale is still going on with items up to 90% off. Some of the best items are still available, which include BlizzCon key art shirts. Those are all Jinx premium t-shirts. They're really nice. They also have the Linkin Park t-shirts from this year. There are a bunch of Diablo shirts from an art contest they had a couple of years ago. They're all amazing. I bought the Witch Doctor, and I've actually now bought 2 of the Lord of Terror ones. One I'm going to send to Perk because they didn't fit. Yeah,
there's Echoes of War is still in stock. It's a premium box set of all the music from Blizzard Entertainment with an orchestra performing it and behind the scenes talking about the music, which is really cool. There's some Murloc vinyl figurines. There are some costumes of Illidan. There is the 10-year anniversary messenger bag that's on sale. That's pretty high quality. There's an autograph book with Blizzard on the front. People like grabbing them up for BlizzCon to get autographs from, developers and other people that work on the game. And the Pandora and Brewmaster Deluxe figurine is $20 and it's usually $50. So you can get a lot of really good deals.
There's a lot of really good deals, and I feel like I don't see sales like this that are this big often. Like, I think $10 for like an officially licensed video game shirt is a steal. So I had no problem ending up buying 2 of those shirts anyways. Like, at $20 it would have been a good deal, but I'm glad that one will fit you. I have really broad shoulders. Nothing fits me. All the stuff that we're talking about right now is at gear.blizzard.com.
Yep, that is the name.
Yep,
Pepe is on sale too right now.
And there will be a link at the very end. You'll see like everything will be categorized, and there's a category that says Last Chance Sale. So that's where you're going to want to go. If you want to get a plushie for 15% off, you just use code WowheadP15. Now, what's nice is that Last Chance Sale doesn't have a coupon code. So you can just bundle in plushies if you want, use your code, and you can get everything all at once. If you're looking for any Hearthstone type merchandise from Jinx, jinx.com, code WowHead to get 25% off. So if you're interested in any of this, there is more information on Wowhead, and that is all.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. So thank you so much for joining us. We had a really good turnout today.
Awesome. In spite of no real like alpha breaking news,
there
that's
wasn't
really
too
great.
much to talk
Yeah,
about.
I think really people really like the movie. So
Yeah, well, and good talk about leveling. Good talk.
yeah, that was just out of the blue. That was really good.
Yeah, people tend to really like when we have like a little opinion type pieces. So I'm always glad when we can fit those in without causing controversy. So thank you to everybody who joined us today. Thank you if you subscribed or follow us on Twitch or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much if you subscribe to Wowhead Premium, which again, if you do not know, is a service that directly benefits Wowhead. It also removes all of the ads from wowhead.com. It allows you to customize your today in Draenor and track quests, as well as you'll have a special color when you talk, but the best part is that it removes ads, and it directly benefits Wowhead. So thank you if you do that, and we will be here next week, same bat time, same bat channel. That's 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, every Friday at twitch.tv/Wowhead. If you miss us live, you can watch the VOD of this stream at youtube.com/Wowhead. Also, if you like videos about World of Warcraft, stuff that's on the beta and the alpha and the PTR and whatnot, we put out videos almost every single day at youtube.com/Wowhead of animations and questing stuff and just all sorts of stuff. We've also been trying to do guides. I think I'm done with all of our promotional stuff.
Yep, we're good.
We're gonna go. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Yep. Bye.